The arena's crystalline walls hummed with energy as thousands of Zephyrian spectators filled the floating platforms above. Their chittering voices created a symphony of anticipation, mandibles clicking in rhythm as they awaited the spectacle below. In the center of the vast chamber stood Krixtal the Unyielding, champion of the seventh spiral, his forearms rippling with muscles that could crush starship hulls. Across from him, a figure that seemed almost comically small in comparison adjusted a coil of ordinary rope around his shoulder. Marcus Chen, human diplomat turned reluctant gladiator, stood barely 6 feet tall against Krixtal's towering 9-foot frame. The Zephyrian warrior's exoskeleton gleamed like polished obsidian, while Marcus wore simple combat fatigues that had seen better days. "This is your champion?" Krixtal's voice boomed through the arena's translators, each word dripping with disdain. His primary eyes fixed on Marcus while his secondary pair scanned for hidden weapons. The soft flesh brings rope to face the unyielding. High above, War Prime Zethmok leaned forward on his crystalline throne. The diplomatic incident that had brought them to this point seemed almost absurd now. A human trade delegation had been accused of espionage when their scanning equipment detected the Zephyrian secret weapon caches. Rather than risk interstellar war, the humans had invoked the ancient right of trial by combat. The Zephyrians had expected them to send their finest super soldier, enhanced with the latest military augmentations. Instead, they sent Marcus Chen, a 34-year-old former rock climber who now negotiated mining rights for the Terran Colonial Authority. "Begin," Zethmok's voice echoed through the arena. Krixtal charged immediately, his forearms windmilling as he closed the distance with devastating speed. His footsteps cracked the arena floor, each stride eating up yards of space. Marcus simply stepped aside at the last moment, like a matador avoiding a bull, letting the massive alien warrior thunder past him. The crowd's chittering rose to a crescendo of confusion. Where was the clash of titans they had expected? Krixtal spun around, his mandibles spread wide in fury. "Face me, coward." Marcus said nothing. He began walking in a slow circle around the arena's perimeter, his rope held loosely in his hands. Krixtal charged again, and again Marcus avoided him with minimal effort, stepping behind one of the arena's support pillars. The warrior's fist pulverized the crystal structure, but Marcus was already elsewhere. "What is the human doing?" One of the Zephyrian nobles chittered to another. "Perhaps he seeks to tire Krixtal," came the reply. Though both knew the absurdity of such a strategy, Krixtal could maintain peak performance for hours, but Marcus wasn't trying to tire his opponent's body. He was studying him. With each charge, Marcus learned something new. Krixtal favored his upper right arm for crushing blows. His lower left leg showed a slight hesitation when turning counterclockwise, probably an old injury. Most importantly, the warrior's rage was building with each missed attack, making him more predictable. 15 minutes passed, then 30. The crowd's excitement turned to bewilderment, then to restless murmuring. Some began to leave. Krixtal's breathing had grown heavier, not from physical exhaustion, but from the fury of being unable to land a single blow on the maddeningly elusive human. "Stand still and fight." Marcus finally stopped his circling. He stood near the arena's center, rope in hand, and spoke for the first time since entering the chamber. "You want to know why humans are dangerous?" His voice carried clearly through the translator network. "It's not our strength or our technology. It's that we're the species that figured out how to make other animals work for us." Krixtal roared and launched himself forward in his most devastating attack yet. All four arms extended to crush this insolent soft flesh into paste. Marcus dropped to one knee and rolled forward beneath the warrior's leap. As Krixtal sailed overhead, Marcus whipped his rope upward. The loop he'd been quietly preparing for the last 30 minutes caught Krixtal's lower right ankle perfectly. Physics took over. Krixtal's massive momentum, suddenly redirected by the rope around his ankle, sent him tumbling. His own strength became his enemy as he crashed into the arena wall with bone-crushing force. But Marcus wasn't done. As the dazed warrior tried to rise, Marcus was already moving. The rope wasn't just any rope. It was climbing rope, designed to catch falling humans on cliff faces. Marcus had spent 20 years learning every knot, every technique for using rope to control forces much greater than himself. In the space of 30 seconds, he had Krixtal's forearms bound behind his back, using a modified bowline that tightened under pressure. The more the warrior struggled, the more secure the binding became. Krixtal thrashed on the arena floor, his massive strength now working against him. Each movement made the knots tighter, the rope cutting into his exoskeleton. Impossible, War Prime Zethmok whispered. Marcus stood over the bound warrior, not even breathing heavily. We spent 10,000 years learning to catch animals stronger and faster than us. We invented tools not to make ourselves stronger, but to make strength irrelevant. He looked up at the stunned crowd of Zephyrians. Your warrior is strong, but I'm human. We don't fight strong opponents. We trap them. The arena fell silent except for Krikstal's frustrated struggles. The unyielding had been bested not by superior force but by something far more dangerous. Human ingenuity paired with inhuman patience. War Prime Zethmok slowly stood from his throne. In all the annals of Zephyrian combat, no warrior had ever been defeated without a single blow being landed upon them. The human is victorious, he announced, his voice carrying a new note of respect. The charges against the Terran delegation are dropped. As Marcus untied his rope and coiled it back around his shoulder, he looked up at the War Prime. We'd still like to discuss those mining rights if you're interested. In the diplomatic quarters that night, Marcus sent a simple message back to Earth. Deal secured. Turns out they respect a good nod as much as good firepower. The Zephyrians would remember this day not as the defeat of their champion, but as their first lesson in why humans had conquered their galaxy, not through strength of arm but through strength of mind, and they would never underestimate a human with rope again.